How the heck are you guys? I am Fastidious. Welcome back to the channel. The newest fusion went live yesterday in Raid Shadow Legends, and we have something pretty serious to talk about because they have already nerfed her. And that is just unbelievable. And there's a lot to unpack. I don't think they necessarily made a mistake in choosing to rebalance her, but I think Polarium made a pretty huge mistake in how they went about it. How do you nerf a champion after her fusion has already begun? We have so much to talk about. Before we do, though, I do want to say my fusion calendar is live now on my website. This is an interactive fusion planner. So if you go to your web browser and you go to fastidious.gg, then you go to the raid section and then you click on calendar, it will bring you here, or simply put into your web browser fastidious.gg/raid/calendar. If you want to see it from the homepage, you click here, you scroll down, you click here, and you are good to go. This is a live tracker. If you make an account, it will always remember your progress, so you can track your progress as you go through the fusion. Obviously, it's 100% free and available to everyone. Use it as you'd like. Some people like to do pen and paper. Some people have an Excel spreadsheet. This, to me, is the best tool available. That's why I made it. So check it out. I have guides on how to use these calendars if you want. The one thing to note specifically with the Sanguine Maria fusion is this is a hybrid fusion. It is a mixed fusion. So remember, you are going to be collecting fragments for the Thorn Golem, the Void Epic. Once you have 4 copies, you can see as you collect frags right underneath me now, it's going to light up and start filling up. And then once you have it complete, you can say that you're ready. Then you can say that you built it, so on and so on. And then on the bottom, it's going to track how many void potions you still need, how many arcane potions you still need, and how much fodder you need. Because after you collect the fragments to fuse the 4 thorn golems, you'll have to build them up. So you need a certain amount of void pots, arcane pots, and fodder. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments section below. Let's talk about the nerf. So if you don't know, Sanguine Maria is going to be a very strong unit. I never really doubted that. If you watch my original video, I think some people misconstrued what I was saying. I said she is the wackiest champion they've ever added. It's the most strange kit. That never meant she was weak. I actually explicitly said if her damage multipliers were good, she could be fantastic. And it does seem her damage multipliers are very good. And the devs noticed that. And they noticed one specific thing with her A1. And effectively, they have nerfed her against bosses by nerfing her A1 and nerfing her passive specifically against bosses. So with the A1, it is a triple hitter, and each one of those hits has a chance to grant an extra turn. That's kind of crazy. So you could stack a lot of extra turns. Each hit can only gain 1 extra turn, but there are 3 hits, and there's a 33% chance that each hit's going to do it. So she could continuously attack and attack and attack, and to begin with, this was a very hard triple hitter. So a lot of content creators on the test server made content showcasing how she could just delete bosses, which was overpowered, to be fair. Like, she was so strong at that, you could turn off her A2, turn off her A3, and she would absolutely go to town on bosses, deleting them, sometimes if it lined up right before they ever even took a turn. Additionally, she has strong damage mitigation through her passive. You can see each subsequent hit this champion receives deals 33% less damage. This stacks up to 99%. So the way this works is the first hit comes in, that is the first hit. The next hit is the first subsequent hit. So the second hit is the first subsequent hit. For that hit, the damage will be reduced by 33%. The third hit, the second subsequent hit, will have its damage reduced by 66%. And finally, that fourth hit, the third subsequent hit after the initial hit, you get what I'm saying here, that will have the damage reduced by 99%. That is remaining unchanged everywhere except against bosses. So let's get into the exact nerf now. Let's talk about why the nerf itself is not bad. Calling it a rebalance is ridiculous, but you know, it's going to be political speak from the developers. It is a nerf. Nothing was improved. It was all negative. However, it probably was needed. On the other side of that coin, doing it 2 days after the banner began, or I guess a day and a half, but after 2 days of events, is Looney Tunes. What is the point of having content creators on the test server showing you the problems before things go live? What is the point of having some semblance, I'm sure, of a quality assurance team for your game? What quality are you assuring if you're doing things post-fact? This is really problematic. I am certain that a significant number of players started this fusion because they saw content creator videos, and then they would not have started it if they knew she would be instantaneously nerfed. She needed to be nerfed before. And this is really bad. This is really problematic. So let's go into the news now. You have to go to the news section in your game. You're going to click on the burger menu on the left, then news, and then you're in featured news. It is a picture of Lysandra. Why? We'll never know. It's the Sanguine Maria rebalance, but it is Lysandra. But if you're willing to read and things don't pass you by, you will find the information. So let's read through it together. Hey everyone, after seeing how Sanguine Maria has been performing, we've decided to make some changes to some of her skills when taking on bosses. Don't worry though, she is still a nightmarishly tough opponent to face in the arena. Here's what's changing. When used against bosses, Maria's Hematic Blade skill allowed her to deal massive, consistent damage and gain lots of extra turns. Hematic Blades is the A1. We're tweaking it so that she no longer gets an extra turn when she uses this skill against bosses, and its damage multiplier will be slightly decreased. Slightly decreased could mean the damage is going to be 10% less than what it was before. It could be 45% less than what it was before. We have no way of knowing, and this change, as you're going to see, is not live yet on the test server, so we will not know for days. We saw an initial version of her. People used that to inform their opinion whether or not they were going to go for the fusion, and then acted upon that opinion they formed. And now we're finding out she's getting nerfed, but we don't know exactly how because they never disclose multipliers in this game, which I know to some of you feels normal. But if you have ever played any other modern game in the genre, it is not normal. It's infuriating that they're doing this, and we still don't know. We're still in the dark. So here I am, a player that would have gone for the fusion regardless, even without the extra turn mechanic against bosses, and then the other nerf we're talking about. But I am concerned about the nerf to the DPS that the A1 puts out. The extra turn spamming is clearly the problem. Why are they also decreasing the damage multipliers? And for how long will we not know how significant the decrease is? It's really, really annoying. You know, I am now worried that I've decided to go for this fusion, and we don't know if the A1 is going to hit like half as hard as it was hitting before. And that would be an enormous problem. The A1 is integral to her kit. And also, why is the A1 being nerfed everywhere? Why not just against bosses? All these other changes are specific to bosses. She's still going to have that great extra turn mechanic, just not against bosses. I think a lot of us can live with that. It makes sense. We could have lived with it a lot more if they announced it before the fusion started and we all either began, and so many of us decided to go for the fusion. But hey, it does make sense. It's problematic, but it makes sense. But now why are you reducing the damage multiplier everywhere? And when will we know how big the reduction is? Next, you will see they say, we are also changing the damage reduction she'll get from her Say Her Name passive, that's the skill we went over just a few minutes ago, when she's facing bosses. So now the reduction in incoming damage from bosses will be 11%, stacking up to 3 times. So she gets hit for the first time, that begins the pattern. The second hit, the first subsequent hit, will have its damage reduced by 11%. The next hit after that will be 22%, and the next hit after that will be 33%. Then it goes back to no reduction, rinse, and repeat. So fine, they want to nerf her further against bosses. I can live with the passive change. I can live with the extra turn change against bosses. I think it's enormously problematic, as I've mentioned a few times now, that they have done this after the fusion has been live for a day and a half, after events have been live for 2 days, and I do not understand why they are reducing her A1 damage everywhere. The final part we have to talk about is this thing underneath me now, right here. We're aiming for these adjustments to go live next week, so keep your eyes peeled. So at the earliest, we're going to know what these changes look like, specifically the reduction in the A1 damage multipliers, on Monday. That would be a full 4 days after the fusion began. Likely, it won't be Monday. It could be anytime next week. And they're saying we're aiming for next week. That's not even guaranteed. So it is totally possible we could be halfway done with this fusion or even further into it before we know how this unit we're all trying to get is going to be nerfed. I think this is such a fumble. Like, it's your game. You create these characters. You test these characters. You have content creators who can test these things out on the test server you provide access to so they can find things you may have overlooked. No one's saying you need to be perfect developers and you need to catch every mistake, but if you choose to employ a test server and have people test on it, listen to the tests. There were videos out there showing how ridiculous this was. Yes, I know a lot of people are probably going to say, and fair enough, that, oh my God, you should have known. Like, people already were assuming this was going to happen. There was word from, I believe, Boozer yesterday that he spoke with the dev contact and they confirmed some nerf would be coming. But those are not official channels. This is the official thing. A lot of people are not as aggressively plugged in as a lot of us here on YouTube. And even a lot of us on YouTube are not that plugged in. We don't have time to catch every video and figure out every behind-the-scenes rumor of a nerf or indicator of a nerf that is coming. So I just think this is really bad. I don't mind if you rebalance units. I don't mind if you nerf them before release, but please do it before release. And then don't add other unnecessary nerfs in there, like the reduction in A1 damage to all content, not just boss content, for no good reason. I mean, what are we doing? A bunch of us, like me, are going to continue going for this fusion, but we're going to be really weary not knowing exactly how much weaker she's going to be. And I do not think that is so cool. If I pop open the calendar one more time, the final thing I want to talk about is it has been confirmed that this hero's path that is a key part of the fusion is not the Leonardo path. And to that I say, what on God's green earth is going on? We had a path 2 weeks ago that was part of the Titan event. Now we're getting another path. I might make a whole video on this. I probably will. Now we're getting another path. I probably will on Monday. Look forward to that on Monday, but the very short version. Now we're getting another path that again is not Leo, only 2 weeks later. And this confirms we're going to get the Leo path in a week or two because the entire TMNT collab ends on November 13th. How are you doing 3 paths in 6 weeks? The whole thing is just one giant tease to make sure that people are constantly on the hook for Leo and waiting and waiting and waiting. Frankly, I'd be surprised if at this point it is not costing the developers money. Like, people are not going to participate in this fusion because they're still waiting for Leo and they're so worried what that's going to look like, and so on and so on and so on. The developers have cultivated so much FOMO among the player base that I think a lot of people are paralyzed and not doing anything. I don't know. Maybe I'm off base. You guys let me know what you think. I've been Fastidious. I had a lot of thoughts on this, as you can see. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know your thoughts below. If you're not yet playing Raid, use my link in the description in the top pinned comment so you can start playing today, get 4 insane champions for free, and use one of my new player promo codes to get another free legendary. It's pretty wild. Share it with your mother, guys, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.